You didn't know that when you married that man, that his resume was all lies. That he was supposed to be working for one of the 500 Fortune companies, but he was working in the back of White Castle. But every time he came to see you, he was dressed from head to toe and looked like he had money from the last woman that he took for a ride. You didn't know he was a wife beater until you told him no and he slapped you. You didn't know he was a thief until you went to your pocketbook and saw all your money gone. And it was just you and him in the house. So there's some things that we censor off of the things that have happened to us in our lives. Somebody said, Pastor, what are you dealing with? Just follow me for a little while. I'm preaching a few minutes, but I want to take you somewhere. Because Moses had to deal with the same kind of resume. Somebody said, Pastor, what do you mean? He still had to live with the fact that he killed that Egyptian and ran away from Pharaoh's wrath in order to survive. He had to live with the fact that he was wanted. Had to run to the wilderness in order to survive what would have been a tremendous tragedy if they had caught him. Now, with this jacked up resume, I got to mess with y'all for a minute, because keep in mind, Moses was raised in a palace, rescued by Pharaoh's daughter. Is that right? Y'all know the story. He was raised in a palace, rescued by Pharaoh's daughter. Now he finds himself running away from all that was comfortable into a dry place in the desert. Not only that, gets to the desert and does not even know how to survive. Why? Because all his life had been catered to. There were servants. There was food. Now he's running and he's hiding in a desert. Now he has to learn now how to survive in a place where he's never been. A wilderness. Look at somebody and tell them nothing shall be wasted. Yeah. And so what happens now, here he is, once the prince of Egypt, in the wilderness, learning how to clean up sheep dung, because he was watching his father-in-law's sheep. So once a prince, now a poop cleaner. That's what it is. It's poop. Listen, I'll make y'all, well, no, let me go ahead. We are the what of his pasture? The sheep of his pasture. And we pastors are assigned to clean up the So all of you brethren that want to pastor, just remember You're going to have to learn how to clean up people's. Oh. That's a revelation for you. And trust me, poop don't smell good. It has an odor. And you got to make sure after you clean it up that you're not stinking yourself. He runs into Jethro, who teaches him how to survive in a wilderness, how to take care of his sheep in the wilderness. Interesting. It took him almost 80 years to finally walk into his destiny. 40 years in the palace, 40 years in a wilderness. Interesting. Note this. Moses had become acquainted with 3 different cultures. One being the Egyptians. He was an Egyptian, yet he was Hebrew. So he had to interact with his own, plus deal with the Egyptians. Now he's interacting with the Midianites. But he never became connected to any of the 3. He walked amongst them, but God would never allow him to become connected to any one of them, because his assignment would be greater than the connections. Oh, somebody said, Pastor, what do you mean? You ready? Moses was like a misfit. Wherever he was embraced, but he never fit. It's like some of us, we struggle with being a misfit. We don't understand why people don't accept us. And sometimes we do stupid things to be accepted. I'm talking to some of y'all that have sat and been quiet while mess was going on because you wanted to fit. You wanted to be embraced and you wanted to be accepted. But even after you sat quiet and went along with the program, those same people still rejected you because you just weren't a fit. Somebody said, Pastor, let me get serious about this. Because a sure sign that God has something special for you to accomplish is when you become a misfit. When you can't fit in the mold of what people feel you should. I know what it's like to be a misfit. Many times I wanted to be like all the other guys. But it just didn't work for me. And after a while, I learned, and I hope you get this, I'm going to preach in a couple minutes. I learned how to be happy by myself. Because anytime you become dependent on somebody else making you happy, after a while, they're going to get sick of you. Because then you become too needy. You know, every time they see you, I need you to make me happy. Oh, I'm sending a message to some of the women in the house today. If you're looking for a man to make you happy, he's going to get sick of you after a while. You got to be happy all by yourself. You have to have the character in you that if don't nobody do nothing for you, God is enough. You have to have the quality in you that says, if you reject me, I will not die because I was good before I met you.